How's it going, everybody? It's me. I'm back with another video. If you saw the last video and you looked in the description for everything, I said that video was out a little late from what I was aiming for, which it was, and I want to do a more serious video coming up, and that's this video. I even changed angles for you. I have a camera that's actually set up right now that's not going to go flying everywhere while I'm talking to you. So, excuse me in this video too if anything, like there's long pauses or there's nothing to say. Nothing here scripted. I don't have anything idea-wise. I just want to talk about this because it's, if you see the description for what I'm probably going to name this, you know what it's about. It's talking about abuse. That's right, abuse. I know, a really serious topic here. I don't think I've had a serious topic since the suicide prevention video I did in Brutal Legends during the whole the Paul situation that happened over in Japan with the suicide forest. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. The reason I want to talk about abuse is because a lot of people have asked about, what happened to you? Why'd you go dark for a while? Why haven't we heard from you a lot? Are you okay? Is everything all right? It seems like there's something serious that happened. And there was some serious stuff that happened. I don't want to bring up names in this video because I don't feel that... Two reasons. One, I don't feel that names should really be needed here because I don't want to be throwing names into it, putting people on the spot, or having names known. So even if I mention a name, it's going to be a made-up name for someone, like, I don't know, I'll call them Millie or something, I don't know. So the other reason is that this topic shouldn't just have to go by the people involved. It's a very serious topic, and it should be the people who get affected by it overall. So I don't feel right putting a name on just like, I was abused, more like people that get abused. I will tell you what happened to me and my story and everything, but this isn't the place to say, here's my story on what happened to me. This is more of a video of what happened in an abusive situation and how people can either better themselves, get out of it, move on, or seek help. That's kind of what I want this to be, because that's what I needed at the time, and I really just didn't have a lot of that. I didn't have much. So let's take it up to 3 months ago. Let's start 3 months ago. And I'm sorry if I'm going for my eyes a lot. It's just I'm very nervous for this video because I feel like I am gonna tear up. I might cry. It's very serious stuff, and it really did happen to me. So anyway, let's continue on. So 3 months ago, I ended up single again, as one of my videos originally said, and it was really sad because that person left me, and it was hard. It was really hard, especially since they just moved on, literally moved out within less than a week or 2 weeks time, gone completely. So I had to deal with that. Obviously, breakups aren't fun. It was more of the crux of what happened before the breakup that I learned about that shook me. It shook me to literally my very being, pretty much. So, yeah, that happened, and the person involved really had this sense of control. And, at first I thought that was who they were. That's how they are. That's how they act. Okay. I understand that some people are very controlling. It wasn't the case. Because then it turned into harassment, controlling me when I wasn't with that person. It turned into, at some points, by what I've seen, and I do have evidence for that, I won't be throwing that anywhere, stalking. Digital stalking mostly, but my digital footprint was followed wherever it went. And these things, it's just like, okay, this is odd, and I don't know what the situation is for that. Finally, I got to sit down with this person and talk to them and learn that there was a lot more up here that wasn't going well. And at first I thought, okay, if we would have talked earlier, maybe something could have been different or something. It wasn't the case. I learned later on that was all just how they put on a mask or a face, and how they were kind of just trying to put me in a sense of like they still have control over me or something like that. Even playing the part of just saying they didn't want anything to do with me, but again, following me online anywhere I went. That was, like, it just messed with me. And then, the harassment really got to me. And it broke me down to the point I needed therapy. I actually sat down and said, I can't do this anymore. I need to talk to somebody because I don't have any other way to deal with this at all. And I have nothing against therapy. I very much think therapy is needed for people who need it. I definitely think, even if you don't need therapy, just to talk to somebody is something that's very needed. They're professionals. Talk to a therapist. They're amazing people. They go through so much work just to learn how to be a therapist. Sorry. So I talked to therapy, and I told them not only everything that was going on, but everything that was going on in my entire relationship. Everything. I laid out every single thing, everything that might have seemed like a red flag, but I put down, everything that didn't seem like a red flag because they asked more questions about everything else. And I talked to them. It was a really quick one, too. It was the company I work for, you're able to talk to therapy, and yeah, it was only like maybe 30 minutes at a most, but it was just really, it was one of those quick little ones before they wanted to schedule me in again, which I need to follow up on that. But they said, okay, there's a lot of things that have come up that we've heard. We recommend a number. We want you to call it, and we want you to talk to them and get everything prioritized in your life and everything. They gave me the number for the Battered Woman Shelter. Little disclaimer on the name, okay? The Battered Woman Shelter. It is open to anyone that is being abused, not just women. They thought I was calling for information on somebody, and they immediately gave me the whole spiel of, like, we cannot diverge any information of people who call. They thought I was the one abusing somebody until I explained, like, no, I think I've been the victim of this. I was told to call here. Then they immediately started apologizing, just like, oh, no, we're sorry, we don't have a lot of men calling, we didn't know. Yes, continue. So, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel of what I talked to them about. I don't want to get into the very personal things. Again, leaving names and everything like that out. So, I talked to them for almost a good hour, like giving them all the information, and they have their own words in, and they say, okay, by what we have been told, by what we've seen, by what you've told us and the experiences you've had, you fall under a classic state of woman towards man, and they said extreme physical and emotional abuse. You have been heavily abused. You have, like, even when you did not know it, you were being abused. And I'm not going to lie, and it still gets me every single time I think about it. I learned that, the gist is, I learned that for 9 months, I was being abused, and I learned all of that in one day. One day, they dropped 9 months of abuse that I was going through that I didn't even think about. And then you start to look back on things and realize things, and you realize, like, yeah, that was some heavy stuff. I'm 6'2". I'm 250 pounds. Like, no one should ever think, like, size, shape, gender, sex, anything you want to go by, you can't be a victim of abuse. The only personal one I'll tell you right now is, like, an example that comes into my head every time that really shows, like, this person really was out to just control me and just abuse me financially too. They got me, and I learned later on, looking into more things, it does categorize as domestic abuse. But there was a time we were talking to our friend. You know what? I'll just use the name Millie here for them because I said Millie earlier. I might as well use it. We're talking to our friend there, and she just so happens to be pregnant at the time. And at the time, we were talking, thinking of children. And I tell her just in private, not out loud or anything, like, yeah, we're thinking of kids, like pregnancy on mine. And she, abruptly ended the conversation and pulled me off to the side in a different aisle. And in front of a crowded supermarket, just decks me as hard as she can in the chest. Just decks me. And just starts just laying into me. I'm like, I can't believe you'd be such an idiot that you would do, just reaming me in front of a crowd. And it really was. It was one of the most humiliating moments I think I ever had with a person that I was seeing or in a relationship with. Because what am I supposed to do in that situation? Like, I was flabbergasted that they'd even do that in front of everybody. It's just, that was just one thing. It's just, it just really hurts just to think about. So yeah, I learned all that information in one day, and things were getting bad at that point with them too. I had already gone to blocking them on everything and getting everything I can just away. And they said, like, listen, the next course of action that we can recommend to you, since you've already come to talk to us and everything, and by what it sounds like, and if things are still persisting or not, is a restraining order. And I wasn't against a restraining order, but it was more of, this person had constantly harassed me at that point. I had finally blocked them on everything so that they were gone. And it got to the point where I had to get a hold of friends and family and state, like, if there's any way she tries to get a hold of me through you, I need evidence, screenshots or something that she has tried to contact me. Because at that point I can bring that up to a court and be like, here you go, she's still trying to do things. I was never going out just for a restraining order. Never was. It was, I brought it up to my former friend. I'll call him Wallace, I guess. That's the easiest one I can think of, Wallace. It just got to that point where I can't handle it anymore. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm suffering right now. And it wasn't because I was feeling hurt that I wasn't with them anymore. It was, I'm feeling hurt because I look back at everything that I was attacked with and what I'm still being attacked with, and I'm like, this is severely bad. This isn't good. This is horrible. So that was also the day I lost one of my friends. Abusers have a way of just worming their way into either your head or others, and just taking away or just chipping away at things. And I lost my friend that day because, lines in the sands were drawn, and he decided, like, this person, it's like, obviously you're lying. Or, he was talking to her at the time and said, this person obviously feels remorse, and abuser doesn't feel remorse. So I told him, and again, it was hard to type out at the time when I was texting it. But fine. You don't want to believe me. You don't want to listen to me. Fine. Whatever. That's whatever you want to do. But understand that I just learned that after 9 months of being with this person, I was getting heavily abused, and I learned all of that in one day. And that's that's not something you just learn and you just deal with. You don't. And I had to block them and everything, and it's just, you lose your friends over this kind of stuff too, and it just shouldn't happen. And just, yeah. I'll wrap it up quick so I can go over talking about just abuse in general, because I feel like my story, as much as people do want to know what happened, it doesn't need to go that deep. Again, like talking about the relationship itself, the person, it doesn't need to go into that at all. For a little while later, the stalking and harassing somewhat continued. In fact, I've still seen, and the thing is like, you feel paranoia at times. So you think it's them trying to get a hold of you or look into you, when maybe it's not. It's just that I've had a lot of those coincidences happen within like a month span, like 5 or 6 different times that it seemed like either someone was looking into somebody I knew or someone was trying to get a hold of someone I knew. And it's just, you don't know. You don't know if they're trying to keep tabs on what you're doing. You don't know if that's their goal. You don't know. I don't even think the person thinks of themselves as an abuser, but they just think that they're a victim. And it's hard because, again, I'm a guy, she's a girl, and it's just, I'm a big guy. I'm not going to just get hit that easily and leave a bruise. Like, it doesn't happen that way. From a woman towards a man, it just doesn't happen that way. So I sit there and it's just like, well, obviously he broke up and he doesn't want to look a villain or something, but it's like, you don't know how to show those things, because it's like, all I can say is just like, here are screenshots I have. Here are things that have happened. You can't just say just like, yeah, here's the bruise on the neck where they choked me or something. Not saying like everyone's abuse is that horrible. That's definitely a horrible level of abuse, and I'm not saying mine was on that level at all. But abuse is abuse. And It's just hard. I'm not trying to play the sex card or anything, but for a guy, it's hard for this to happen too, because it's just something that just doesn't phase anyone's head now and then. And even like the shelter said, they get extremely ticked about this because I was the only man that they heard of in a situation like this within 6 to 7 months of that person working there. The coworker she worked with did not know of any other time that ever happened. So that was fun. Yeah, but just the minor coincidences that make you paranoid, like my former friend getting a hold of another friend and seeing what I'm doing. Since those two are so close now, it's like, is it him actually trying to get info on me, or is he getting info for her? Same for like family. It's been that way with some of them too. And again, I've blocked and unfriended everything I can, but it's those minor coincidences that happen. And you really do makes you think, are they looking into me or not? Right now, I kind of think so, because again, it's been so frequent that I don't think it can just be a coincidence. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So that's my story. That's what happened, why I've been gone. I'm sorry this video is a lot more serious. I'm sorry it's longer than normal, but this is a story I had to tell. Abuse in general. So abuse is abuse. That's all I can say. If you're abused, you're abused. There's no saying different levels or anything. Like, I unhappily happened to mention last time, like, my level wasn't that bad. But, there are different levels of threat towards oneself, but abuse is abuse. For me, financially was one of them. Emotionally was definitely one of them. Physical was one of them. Technically it all falls under domestic abuse for me. It's a lot worse for people. Again, I hate to bring up levels and everything, but some people, like, I'm 6'2", 250 pounds. Let's say it's a woman who's like 5'2", weighs 130 pounds, and like she's physically being assaulted by a man who's 6'3", 210, bodybuilder or something. It's like, you don't think about things like, I got affected, she got affected. It's two different things. It's still abuse. It's just hers is being more severely physically abused. And it's horrible for any person to go through. And, we're all told that and we all understand that. But it's not until you really live it that you truly understand. Again, like, I would never think of it to this level if it wasn't for the fact that it happened to me. And it's something I deal with every day, thinking about, especially since it's so fresh. Like, that happened to me. This isn't something you see on TV and you feel for someone. Obviously, when that happens to people, you do. But I look at that and I'm like, I understand. Like, I truly understand. I was on the receiving end for things. It's not fun at all. Yeah, it's just, there are people out there to help. Again, I mentioned therapists, therapy, people like that. The woman shelter that I called, that was the Minnesota branch. You can call the Minnesota branch if you're in Minnesota. You can call, I believe there is an overall number. I'll leave numbers in the description. But you can be safe. You can be taken care of. You can get out of it. You can be safe. People have situations that are harder, like not the abuse itself, but like a mother with kids who's being abused by her husband. Like, the kids play a role into things then. Someone who, let's say, is from a different country or something, they have to worry about that situation there. It's a very hard situation sometimes. I was lucky. I don't have kids. I wasn't married. I got out of that because the person wanted to not deal with me anymore, but still want to control it. It was a very odd situation. It's just, it's hard. It's hard for anyone going through it, is what I'm trying to get to, because no one should have to go through that. No one should have to go through dealing with abuse. It is a very serious topic. It is something that needs to be addressed, something that needs to be looked into. People need help. If you're able to help someone, that's great. But a person in the end really does have to help themselves in that situation. I had to get out on my own and seek help. I had to go through and seek situations that could benefit me. For instance, like a restraining order. I was never out to get it, but that was the next course of legal action that I was recommended to take, that the Battered Women's Shelter was willing to sign off and do the paperwork for me. There are people that can help, and it's a situation that can be looked into and you can be saved from. It's just something that no one should deal with. Again, I'm sorry this video took up too much time. I just felt like it really needed to be said. And the final thing I do want to say with my situation and finishing it off there, many people who have been through this channel for a while, many people who have watched for a while, many people that have been there with me, watched me, gotten me where I am, gotten me the subscriber count I'm currently having. I'm having a boon right now, which is amazing. The things that have gotten me up there, you guys probably know this individual. And all I can say right now to those who know or are thinking of anything, I ask for my own benefit, because there's still a lot of things in the water that I don't want to deal with. For my benefit, for that person, because even though they did these things to me, I still hope for them to have a normal life and they get the help they need. I ask, in my name or in the name of anything, don't go flying off the rail, retaliating or hunting this person down and doing anything. It's honestly not worth the time, and it's not something I want done. I can't stop anyone from doing anything. Obviously, this is a video. I can't just physically stop someone. But I do ask you respect the wish that it doesn't need to get to that point. That's all I ask. Again, I can't stop someone if they decide to do something, but I just ask for myself. I want to thank you guys for watching. It's a very serious topic. I'll have a lot of information in the description for numbers that people can call or anything else. You guys have a great one. I promise the next video there'll be a lot more chuckles and laughs. I swear. I'll try getting more videos out too. Thank you guys. Have a good one.